Alright, here's how to solve a compound inequality involving OR. Okay, so we've got the first part of the inequality. We go through the process of solving that, subtract 2 from both sides. We then divide everything by 3 and we get t is less than -3. And then we get the right hand side, or the second part. We go through the process of solving that, and what that leads us to is the solutions. T is less than -3 or t is greater than 1. We're going to do our graphing for that, and in this case it looks like this. So an open circle on -3 shading left, an open circle on +1 shading to the right. Okay, so in that case we are doing each part individually, and then we're paying attention to what happens with our answers. So that's how we go through that process. I think I want to throw one in here. So let me write this down for you. I want to let you go through the motions of solving this because I can. So why don't you go through and solve this compound inequality and graph it. So pause it for a little bit, and then I'm gonna show you the process. Okay, so remember over here we divided by a -2, so that meant for us to flip the inequality. It's an OR, so I write my answer like this. I don't need the braces, but sorry, I didn't need these. So we write it using OR, and then we do this part. This is this graph shooting off to the left. This is this graph shooting off to the right. Okay. Oops. Oh yeah. It's Friday morning. I don't even have to be here. Oh well. Okay, my bad. It was written there anyway. Sorry, I wasted your time. All right, moving on. Interval notation, all right? Used to describe an interval on a number line using 3 special symbols. Okay, the symbols include parentheses. Parentheses are used when we have less than or greater than. Okay. We have the brackets. We use then when we have less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. Okay, so the bracket is like a closed circle. The brace or the parentheses is like an open circle. All right, and then we have positive and negative infinity. If we have the value going in the positive direction forever, we use positive infinity. And if it's going in the negative direction forever, we show negative infinity. Okay. So look, here's the inequality. X is greater than 2, greater than or equal to. Here's the graph. We put a closed circle and we shade to the right. Here's what it looks like as interval notation. We have the bracket, the number 2, because the number 2 has a closed circle. We put a comma, and then it's traveling in the positive direction, so that would be infinity, but we never get there. So therefore, we put the parentheses. Okay, look at the next one. X is less than 2. So we put an open circle on 2, we shade left. Now notice, our boundary is now on the right, so that's why the 2 goes to the right. That's the biggest number. So 2 is on the right, it has a parentheses because it's an open circle. We're going to the left, so that's negative infinity, and we never get there, so it's parentheses. Okay. All right, now this one is the and. So we have an open circle on 1, closed circle on 5. So we put the parentheses with 1, comma, the number 5, and then the bracket because it includes it. So this says the same thing as both of those. Then we have our or. X is less than -3, shooting off to the left. X is greater than or equal to 4. So we have to do 2 parts. This one right here has -3 on the right, so we do -3 with the parentheses going in negative infinity direction. And then or, then we have our bracket with the number 4 going towards positive infinity. Okay, so let's look at, I think I have one here. Yeah, okay. What is the graph of -2, 7? Okay, and how do I write it? Basically, it's asking, is it an and or an or? Okay, so remember, this means it's going to be open. So at -2, I'm going to put an open circle. At 7, I'm going to put a closed circle. And then I'm going to shade everything in between. Okay. So does that look like an and or an or? It's an and. So we write it by saying x is greater than -2 and x is less than or equal to 7. Okay? Or, not or, but also, if we wanted to, we could write it this way. X is less than or equal to 7 and greater than -2. Okay. Okay, so now this one's asking, what is the graph of y is greater than 7? So that one's not that difficult. We put a 7. We do an open circle and we shade to the right. How do we write that in interval notation? Okay, so the left-hand side is 7. It's going in the positive infinity direction. Okay. This is an open circle, so we're going to put a parentheses, and we put a parentheses on the other side. Okay, so this is interval notation. Right? Here's a check. 2 videos for 1 section. There's a lot of stuff here. You'll have your chance to ask your questions. See ya.